guys, DMO73 here, bringing you another feature match for the week. Today I am playing a black, white, blue, red Grimmia list developed by my buddy Guy. He calls it Spirit Bomb Grimmia, and Nick is playing a red-white Bahamut list that's kind of similar to the Baja Blast list of the past, but with some tweaks to add in for the white stuff. So he won the die roll, so he's going to be going first. So both of these decks are very, very aggressive. So you're going to see some pretty quick matches here. But let's go ahead and just get started. So you see, obviously, he's already got that Rook Egg and Cthulhu in his turn. So he wants to make sure to play that Regalia first, because he does play Ruler's Memoria in his list. So he starts off with a Rook Egg. Incarnates into Cthulhu, and then grabs another Cthulhu off the Rook Egg trigger. So pretty straightforward. He's going to do some sacrificing there to just do 1,000 damage very quickly on his first turn. And this sets him up nicely for a turn 2 Bahamut flip. So I'm not terribly too worried, because the more aggressive he gets, the actual better for me as a Grimmia player. Lets me flip faster. But Nick knows this, because he is a Grimmia veteran, and so he has to. He's probably got to do the math right to be able to kill me before, keep me at a range where I can't quite flip, but he can kill me fast enough before Grimmia can flip anyway. So I play that Percival and I grab another Excalibur, so I've got a lot of Regalia right off the bat. But unfortunately nothing much to do other than that to take care of the stuff that's on board. So Nick's in a position where he's got a Death Scythe too, which is able to slow him down. So he decides to make it kind of a change here. So he he plays the Rook Egg with the 1 and then sacrifices to flip over with Bahamut. He has that Cthulhu in his hand, I believe he had a Cthulhu in his hand. If not, he's going to search for one. So swings in with the Cthulhu. Again, he's able to just put on a lot of pressure at this point right now. And I'm going to go ahead and take the damage from that. And then he's going to pass because he can't attack. He plays a second Levitine. Tapping for a stone. I hit an Almerius, which is the exact opposite of what I wanted to see this turn, because I have that Stoning to Death in my hand. So if I had hit another black or the Ruler's Memoria, I would be able to stop that Cthulhu and put myself in a better position. But unfortunately, having that second white stone puts me in a place where I can't do that. So the deck, the Spirit Bomb list definitely stops getting will at usually 2 to 3 based on the situation. So we see another Cthulhu come out, just because it doesn't really need much, and it typically does some interesting plays with forcing Grimmia to be able to flip like very, very fast. So I took the first 500 from the first Cthulhu that turn. I go ahead and block the second Cthulhu. He incarnates into the third one, doing 1500, and then just pumps up his Bahamut a bunch with his Levitines to be able to kill me that turn. So we're going into game 2. That was very, very quick, very, very aggressive, but there was nothing that I could do simply because of the fact that I didn't hit that second white stone or second darkness stone. So moving into game 2, I'm going to be on the play. I'm going to be going first. Hopefully this time the Spirit Bomb list can do what it's supposed to do. So I open up with a Scythe and a Stoning, which puts me in a good position. And I have And I draw into a Whispers in the Dark for my turn, so feeling happy about that as well. I hit a Moonshade off the top, which isn't the most ideal, but I'm able to play that Percival and grab an Excalibur, so now I have some ways to produce extra will if I need to. So pretty strong start for me. The Moonshades aren't necessarily very important, simply because, you know, burning myself isn't a big deal, and Nick has to do it as well with his Moonshade, but he does do a Cthulhu as well. We do a little bit of shortcutting here, just because I know that he's gonna do some stuff, and I say that I'm gonna block the second Cthulhu because I know that he's going in for a Cthulhu train, as we like to call it. So I take the 500, but I block the second 500 with my Percival and then draw into my turn. So I hit a second Moonshade, so this puts me in an interesting position. So we're gonna draw, and then actually before his untap here, I'm thinking about something real quick. I want to put him in a position where he can't flip this turn, so before his untap, actually, I go ahead and Stoning to Death the Cthulhu, hoping that he didn't get another 1-drop, so I pay 400 life to be able to do that. It sets him back. It burns me a little bit, but at the same time, it also sets him back a ways, because if he didn't have another red to back it up, it means he has to take a turn. And it prevents him from getting Bahamut out 1 turn faster. If I was Nick in this situation, the Death Scythe can definitely be popped by that Maribel. But I don't necessarily know if that's what he's thinking about. He may be trying to save it for something else. It just feels like the Death Scythe is the big thing for him right at the moment. So I play Whispers from the Dark. So this is one of the big cards of the deck. So when it resolves, I pay a certain amount of life, and then I draw a card for every 500 that I spend. So at the moment there, I spend I think I spent just 2,000 to draw 4 cards. This lets me flip Grimmia for free, and then I attempt to play a Levitine to give my Grimmia swiftness. So this is the point where he pops the Levitine to prevent the swiftness, which is also a good play, because now I can't set up my Ragnarok plays and stuff like that. But at the same time, because of the fact that he doesn't have anything on board, it also puts me in a position where I'm like, okay, well, now I just have a giant blocker that can start doing things next turn. I'm not as worried. So Nick decides to go for another stone. That backward stone is a Ruler's Memoria, just so you're aware. He plays that Snow White and backs it up with a bow. And then he actually passes. So draws into me. I'm going to pump up my Grimmia before the untap. So I do a little interesting thing here where I want to set up kind of some defense just in case. I'm going to be starting to attack his Snow White and trying to gain some life back with Grimmia, but I discard an Excalibur to be able to play Percival. I get Percival because swiftness isn't as important anymore now that Grimmia is out. I'm going to do it again because I have 2 Percivals. And I have to hit another Excalibur. So this is just kind of a way for me to do some deck thinning as well as put out some protection. I go ahead and play it, I believe. Oh no, I don't. So I swing in with target attack and get the trigger from Grimmia to put on a Ragnarok. And then I remove, when I kill Snow White, I remove it from the game. And I'm going to gain 500 life. Or no, I'm going to gain 700 life. This puts me up to 14. So So Nick here gets a little confused. He forgets that Excalibur is not Levitine and they don't have the same effect. So he can't sacrifice his Snow White to save it. So I'm gonna gain 700 life right there, putting me back up to 14. So at this point I feel pretty well established. Like I've recovered pretty well. And I have stones up to be able to deal with whatever he's going to try to put on board. So plays another Snow White. Attempts to attack. Burn one of my Percivals, and I'm going to try to sacrifice the other Percival to be able to prevent all damage to it, and then block, so the attack just does nothing. He's going to sacrifice the Snow White to bring out Bahamut, who's going to have to burn the Percival who can't take any damage. I'm going to draw to my turn, going to pump up. Play a second Scythe, play my other Excalibur. And I just want to make sure that I can kill that Bahamut. So at this point, the game is definitely going in my favor because I have the target attack, so I'm able to get another trigger of Ragnarok and kill the Bahamut. And really, he has nothing he can do because he can't gain Imperishable, so Bahamut's just gonna die. So I'm sitting with, 1200 life. I'm outside of burn range, or 1400 life because I'm outside of burn range. 2 stones up to be able to react, plus a blocker. Against a Bahamut deck that is quickly running out of steam. It's the second Ruler's Memoria. And he goes ahead and thunders me for 500 damage, so that puts me down at 900. And then he just plays a second bow and passes the turn. So I attempt to swing in for 2,000 damage. I'm thinking whether or not I'm going to play something else. So I swing in for 2,000 damage because I get another trigger of Ragnarok. Now I'm swinging in for 2,500 damage. So, and Nick doesn't have any response, so he just takes 2,500. I'm going to leave the Percival up because there's no reason to swing in at this point. I mean, he's got the bows. Honestly, there's no reason to even try to block with it at this point because he's just got the bows. Oh, I do attempt to go ahead and swing in, forcing him to use the bows if he needs to. So 200 more damage there, putting him down to 1,100. Well, with the ability to lock things down, because of Grimmia's effect, there really is no point to try to do some damage. I might as well just swing. Worst comes to worst, he uses one of the bows. Best comes to best, I get 200 free damage. So in comes that Lancelot. And then when we move into combat, I pay 400 life, putting me down to 500. To banish a Ragnarok and tap down Lancelot before he can swing in with it. I'm going to draw on my turn, do a bunch of taps, and just go aggressive, and that would be the end of that one. So we're going to go ahead and go into game 3 here. So game 3 is going to be pretty interesting in the fact that Bahamut's going to be on the play, and he can have a potentially very explosive start, as we saw in game 1. I open up kind of a weird hand. I do have the Whispers, so that sets me up pretty well. And I decide to keep one of the Beat of the Phoenix Wings just in case he manages to play like 2 Cthulhu's or something like that, if he tries to go more aggressive that way, so that I have a way to respond to it. And he opens up with Maribel and Levitine, which puts me in a bad way, because if I have a Death Scythe, it means that the Death Scythe is more likely to get destroyed. He does not get a he gets a Levitine off of the Percival, but he was not able to do a first turn big push, so that puts me in a really good spot because I'm able to establish myself before he starts getting really aggressive. So I see that Maribel, and so I need to make sure that his Bahamut can't just immediately flip, so I actually grab the second Scythe off of the Percival. This way just makes it so that even if he does decide to spend the will to destroy one of my scythes, it doesn't set me back at all. He'll still be faced with a Bahamut that can't get swiftness and has and can't get imperishable either. Hits that Heat Ray and actually just passes the turn to me at that point. Tap for my second stone, get a second Ruler's Memoria, attach an Excalibur, and I go ahead and pass the turn as well. So both of us kind of playing very much slower games, but I have that Whispers of the Dark in my hand, so I'm planning on going making my big play next turn. So this is an interesting thing here. He goes ahead and plays the Cthulhu. I have a Stoning to Death in my hand, or I have that Beat of the Phoenix Wings, either one. And I go ahead and take the damage from both of them. I could have just as easily killed that Cthulhu when it declared the attack with the Stoning and prevented Bahamut from coming out at all, but I kind of wanted him to pull out the Bahamut, in the sense of now that I've baited it out, I can make my big push. So during my upkeep after drawing, I'm going to play Whispers. Now here's the point where he responds by giving the Bahamut imperishable, preventing all damage to the Bahamut with the Percival. So here's where I have to do a lot of different math. So he's playing a burn deck. I know that he's got flying, and he'll be able to do a lot of damage off of that. I have to figure out how much life I want to burn myself with to be able to flip and make a play, while still, keeping myself safe from any kind of burn stuff. So he's at 2 stones. So I'm thinking, well, if I put myself down to, 500 left or 300 left, I don't want to be inside thunder range. If I put myself at like 1300, then I can't flip this turn. I actually go ahead and, after a lot of debating here, I go ahead and go with 800, paying 2500 to put myself down at 800 life. And the reason why is the only way he can burn me to death there is if he has double thunder, and at that point it really wouldn't matter. But he has only 1 card in his hand, maybe if anything. Or if he had Demon Flame, he has to tap for another stone to be able to play. Dragon King's Flame. He has to tap for another stone to be able to play that. But what I end up doing is getting, I keep forgetting that I have to be able to deal with Bahamut. So I discard an Excalibur that I drew from the Whispers to be able to play a Percival. It's in my hand after I flip. Oh no, yeah, right now. So this is actually the big part. So I grab that Levitine, and me hitting that Levitine is actually what wins me the game here. If I hadn't gotten that Levitine, I would have lost next turn. So I flip for free because I have less than 1,000 life. I play the Levitine and a second Death Scythe, or a third Death Scythe, because there's no reason not to. at this point. So I swing in here. It's at his face for 1500. There's no reason to hit Bahamut because it can't take any damage. I get a Ragnarok trigger. So now he's going to take 1500, and he's okay with accepting that because he thinks in his mind that he's just going to win next turn anyway. So it doesn't really matter. So he draws in a turn, going into second card. So he says he has that Dragon King's Flame in his hand, but he has a Lancelot as well. So what I do here is, in the very last priority sequence between recovery and main phase, so after things have recovered but before main, I use Grimmia's effect, paying 2 light and banishing Ragnarok to tap down his Bahamut. So just to look at my other Grimmia there, because I actually have an Italian Grimmia that I'm using for this matchup. But so this puts him in a position where he can't tap for a stone and he can't attack with Bahamut because he's already recovered, and there's a priority sequence right after that. So this is a very common trick from Grimmia players, and actually that move right there is what locks in the game for me. Just because of the fact that now he can't use the Dragon King's Flame by tapping for a stone to burn me, and he's forced to be able to play Lancelot, and Lancelot can't kill me this turn. So he plays Lancelot, I go ahead and block and then he uses one of his bows to kill it anyway. So drawing into my turn, I tap all of my Regalia, so that's 5 Regalia taps, adding an extra 1000 damage to my swing. And then at that point I'm free to just go ahead and swing in and finish the game off with Grimmia. There's an extra 2000 damage with Grimmia, so now Grimmia's doing 3000, and then an extra 500, so 3500, definitely more than enough to finish off the game. So there you have it, guys. That is the match for the week, and he had the Dragon King's Flame in his hand. So if I hadn't gotten the swiftness off the Percival, the Levitine off the Percival, I would have lost that turn by my own devices. So there you have it, guys. Let me know what you think. Deck list will be up this Saturday as always. Like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, this is TMO73 signing off.